Hey guys, Nicolas here, back to another video, and welcome back to another installment in the DC Film Review Retrospective. Today's DC film what we're going to be reviewing is Superman Returns. The movie has been in development hell after the failure of Superman 4, and Warner Brothers wanted to reboot Superman again, and that they originally hired Tim Burton to direct a Superman reboot, Superman Lives, and there's a documentary about that, so if you want to check that out, you can go check that out if you want. It's on DVD, and basically, yeah. But later after that, ended up getting canceled because Warner Brothers didn't. Because Warner Brothers thought that it was gonna end up like the Joel Schumacher Batman movies. And then later after that, Bryan Singer came into the role to the role of the director's chair to direct Superman Returns, ignoring events about what happened in Superman 3 and 4. Plus, I have mentioned this before, Bryan Singer was the director of both of the X-Men movies, X-Men 1 and X2, and then later he left 20th Century Fox and not directing on X-Men 3, so he abandoned X-Men 3 and decided to work on Superman Returns with Warner Brothers. The movie got made and released in theaters in 2006. It was a decent financial success, but to Warner Brothers' eyes, it was a financial failure, mainly because of not enough money to make a sequel. And it was a decent critical success, at least. But anyways, with the history out of the way, let's get into the plot. The movie opens up taking place sometime after the events of Superman 2, where an elder lady has died, and it's revealed that the lady who is giving the contract is actually none other than Lex Luthor. This version of Lex Luthor, played by Kevin Spacey. As we also get to see Clark landing back on Earth again, and with the help, and of course, going back to his memories from the two previous Superman movies. And Superman even goes back to being Clark Kent, going back to the Daily Planet, and even get to see about how Lois is now married and that she hates Superman now because of how Superman left the Earth to find surviving people in Krypton. Lois is going in a plane to do a story. Meanwhile, Lex Luthor turns off the power. The plane is going on a crisis, and so Clark hears about this, and so he goes back to being Superman, and he flies off and saving Lois from a plane crash, because of how Lex Luthor shut down the power to the city. Superman saves Lois, and Lois is now going back to redoing more stories about Superman, and that people are very excited that Superman is back. And meanwhile that Superman is back on Earth, he eventually has to get used to Lois's wife, who is basically the nephew of the owner of the Daily Planet. And even that Lois has a 5-year-old son by the name of Jason, hinting out that he may be Superman's son. Superman, as always, is basically, he's basically just doing his job back on Earth, resuming by working on the Daily Planet as Clark Kent, and being Superman, stopping crime and saving people from any other incidents. After all those kinds of montages, Lois is tracking down about the power to the sewer, and then later she gets kidnapped by none other than Lex Luthor. When Jason is playing the piano when he's having asthma or something like that, it's revealed that he's actually Superman's son. Superman goes out to save Lois and to save Jason, which he doesn't know that Jason is his son. And later after that, he lands, but then he gets beaten up by Lex Luthor with Superman's weakness, kryptonite. Later after that, Superman was thrown into the water, and Lois later saves Superman. After when Lois saves Superman, Superman decides to return the favor to Luthor, basically lifting the island that Luthor wanted all along, and throw it off out of Earth. As Superman passes out and lands in Metropolis, The movie ends with Lois Lane narrating on the scene and Superman flying as credits roll. The positives I have with this movie is that overall the special effects they're a bit good despite them being looking outdated. The way that how they use CGI, it looks kind of like the Polar Express to be exact. It definitely does. The CGI that they used in the movie just basically reminds me of the Polar Express. What else other than that? The acting is pretty solid at this point. Uh, and Kevin Spacey, he does a really great job. Kevin Spacey is a really great actor, as he did a really great job playing villains, and he does a really great job on playing Lex Luthor, but has nothing to do, but has nothing to do that much basically. The plane sequence in the movie is really great to say the least. I really like how they shot and animated with the visuals. I really like how the visuals did very good with the plane sequence. Basically, kind of reminds me of the train sequence from Spider-Man 2. But yeah, basically, uh, what can I say? Other than that, the way how the way how they're trying to like keep this source material true to the Richard Donner Superman movies, Superman 1 and 2, keeping it true to Richard Donner's style, decent very well to say the least. But I did really like John Williams' score. The score is pretty good at this point. Like we got John Williams, coming back to make the score for coming back to make the score for Superman Returns, for the Richard Donner Superman trilogy, keeping it in the same universe. The action is pretty good at this point, and the lady who plays like one of Lex's like love interest slash a part of Lex's henchmen, does a really great job. She could have made a much better Lois Lane, more than Kate Bosworth. Kate Bosworth, well, yeah, and writing, well, okay at best. Well, bad and okay at best. That's all I got for positives. Now for the negatives. This movie is basically just boring. I mean, the movie was trying to recapture what Richard Donner has done for Superman the movie and Superman 2. It's executed very poorly though. I really wish that it could have done much better. If that could have done much better. Bryan Singer, he's not a really bad director, and he's known for like directing the X Men. He's known for like directing the two previous X Men movies, like I said. And well, even though that he's not a bad director because he has experience with Superman movies, but he does kind of let us down with Superman Returns being a huge disappointment to say the least. Kate Bosworth, she doesn't do a really great job playing. She doesn't do a really great job playing that. Playing Lois Lane. She's not Margaret Kidder. She's not Margaret Kidder. She's pretty bad playing Lois Lane. Kate Bosworth doesn't really do a great job playing Lois Lane. She's just pretty bad. She plays an unlikable Lois Lane, where Lois Lane is just an unlikable, where Lois Lane is just an unlikable character that she doesn't like Superman anymore because Superman just left. Well, you have to realize is that Superman was just trying to that Superman was just getting off of Earth because he was trying to find his hometown. So why can't you understand that? I think Clark didn't tell him or something. I don't know. I feel like that there was something missing in the movie. Now the action, while that good, I realize that there's not that much action. I really wish we could have gotten more action in this movie, but that's just me. But anyways, what else other than that? Well, nothing that much in the story isn't that kind of memorable or tedious. Like whenever it comes to like talking about the Richard Donner Superman movies, nobody ever talks about this Superman movie. Yeah, even though they were trying to like recapture the movie, it's just executed very poorly. The way about how about Jason, Lois's son Jason, and that we didn't realize that, and that Lex Luthor's hinting out, and it turns out that he's actually Superman's son in the movie. Well, guess what? Uh, guess what? The way how they did it, well, they did it kind of a bit well, but it's never explained about how he became Superman's son. Did Lois had an affair? I don't know. It's never explained. I really wish we did get a flashback for that. For that. And speaking of which, Lex Luthor overall, Lex Luthor overall, his plot is just basically like in the first movie, going to getting after land again, and it's not even that good. It's executed very poorly. And Jason Marcellus, the guy who plays Cyclops in X-Men 1 and X2 and even in X3, when they killed off his character in X3 The Last Stand, they killed him off because they wanted him to be in Superman Returns. Well, guess what? His acting is just basically terrible and and that his character is just basically unlikable and has not that much purpose in the story whatsoever. Overall, Superman Returns is kind of a bit disappointing, but at least it's much better than Superman 3 and Superman 4. But it's just a huge disappointment from fans who like the first two previous Superman films. Is it as good as the first two previous Superman movies? Not really, but I would say it's much better than Superman 3 and Superman 4. And overall, yeah, with some with not that much of the great acting at this point, decent acting, some likable characters. Kevin Spacey being a likable Lex Luthor, but doesn't do that much, and some really great special effects that still hold up well today, even though that they are dated in some areas and that they do remind us of the Polar Express. So overall, I give Superman Returns. I give Superman Returns 4 stars. And I don't know, recommendation, whatever it tastes for you. If you guys like this movie and if you want to rewatch it again, then be my guest. But if you hate it, I don't care. Overall, this movie is overall that's basically just Superman Returns. What you guys think about it? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Also, this is not the last DC film because of course we're going to be in the Joker movie and Wonder Woman 84 now.